Hi guys, hope you are having a sunny day. Ready for news story? Let's go to the first one, about OP's cousin, who made a delicious dinner, beautifully arranged the kitchen, and invited all the family, parents, cousins, and brothers, just to say she was pregnant with OP's husband. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment. My 27 female granddad died when I was 3 and left an enormous sum of money to me, as I was the only grandchild he got to know before his passing. My mother and her sister received a good amount of money as well, but my aunt never cared to save some of it for her future children or just future in general. While I was in age, I decided to take care of my 2 brothers' education and offered to do the same for my aunt's child's too. My cousin and her brother. But my cousin Maura, 22 female, didn't want to go and demanded I gave her 1 million because that's what I owe her. I said that wasn't the deal and I didn't give her money. Maura got pregnant with her first child at 20. The father didn't want a baby and he just left. After that, I gave her 30K since I always felt it was unfair that her brother got something from our granddad and she didn't. So after this, we kind of amend our relationship because she was really grateful. I think that was the first time we had a conversation without yelling or she cussing me out. I step in and tried to help her as much as I could with her baby, and now she calls me auntie and loves to spend time with me. My aunt never approved this since she has always believed I stole from her children by not giving them half of my money, and she tried to fill Maura's head with bad things about me. When I got married at 25, I asked Maura to be my maid of honor, and my aunt tried to convince her that I wanted to humiliate her since her boyfriend left her when my nephew was born. I assured her that it wasn't like that, but my aunt ended up winning, and my mother and I decided to cut ties with them after they almost ducked up my wedding. They called the venue and tried to cancel the wedding. Now, with the pandemic and the lack of work, Maura called me asking for help since she lost her job and can't take proper care of my nephew. She said that she was really sorry for what happened during my wedding and that she understood if I didn't wanted to help her, but that it wasn't for her but for the baby. I haven't seen him since I cut her off and I really missed him, so I agreed. I invited her to move in with me, my husband, and my 5-month-old, while she tried to get a job and get on her feet again. After this, we started to rebuild our relationship. She always helped around the house and sometimes babysat my daughter so I could do a long bath or things like that. She and my husband got really close during all of this. Note, I didn't felt this was weird since my ex always said that holding grudges wasn't good for our daughter. He is a teacher that works with kids and used to tell me that things like that can damage a child. I guess finding out your dad has a kid with your mother's cousin does not. My aunt also started to be more civil towards me. I really thought that everything was starting to improve and that we were finally going to be a proper family. As I said before, they always treated me like a thief. A week ago, she said she had an announcement to make, made a delicious dinner, beautifully arranged the kitchen, and invited all of us, my parents, my cousins, and our brothers, just to say she was pregnant with my husband. I felt so betrayed and humiliated. My husband tried to defend himself, but I ended up kicking them both out, and while my family supports me, as in my parents and brothers, my aunt said that I have no right to kick them out since now she's my ex's girl and they have to live here. I told her that my ex doesn't own crap and that without me, he doesn't have any money, that the house and all of our things are truly mine, and the only thing he is going to have is a child support debt. Am I the a-hole? They are living with my ex's parents since he was a stay-at-home dad, and neither of them has a job. Edit. I don't think my husband fell for it, or that he knew about the pregnancy. During the dinner, he was also taken aback like me, and I truly believed he also found out about the pregnancy there. But I don't care if he knew or not. He made it, and I'm not going to stick around and be the kind and be stepmommy. A lot of you are worried about the child support thing. I consulted it with my lawyer, and we already voiced it. He told me that since I already have money, and he was unemployed at the time, it could be difficult, but that if I wanted it, I can get it. I'm just thinking about it. My cousin and the rest of my fam, brother and other cousin, didn't get an inheritance, cause my granddad didn't meet them. My cousin didn't get a part, but I paid for his college, as I did with my brother. And if he wants to buy a house or have a nice wedding, I am paying for it. This is not fake, as much as I would like it. I know sometimes it's better to believe that some stories are not real, but they're families like mine, and worst. I had to grow up feeling like my only family was my brother and my parents, since everyone treated me like a thief for something I didn't choose, nor did I understand. By the time I was able to have the money, the damage was done, and even when I wanted to help them, giving them money only made me feel as I condoned that behavior, as if I was paying my bullies for treating me wrong. If you think this is fake as well, it's okay, but it's not. Reading this made me feel sick to my stomach. It's obvious she planned this from the beginning, in the hopes of taking what's OP's, because she feels entitled. I truly hope OP cuts both her ex-husband and her B of a cousin out of her life completely, and goes no contact, and they suffer for their poor choices. Seriously, I have never been so mad before. That is the utmost betrayal. I'd love to see how they cope without OP's money or assets, and how soon it takes for them to come begging to OP for money. OP owes them nothing, and I hope OP stands her ground. My dad got married again after my mom passed away when I was 12 years old. It was very difficult. My life had major changes. I lost my mom, was forced to get used to a new household, and a new mother figure. My stepmom, and I don't think she should be called mom at all, got rid of all my mom's things once she moved in. Even scanned my room to collect stuff that belonged to my mom and took them away. She treated me poorly, and my dad did nothing to defend me. She finally managed to get into my dad's head, and I ended up kicked out at the age of 15 when they found out they were having a baby together. I went to live with my mom's family. I clearly overstayed my welcome. I was able to get my own place and kept in touch with them. I was being kept up to date on what happens in my dad's life by my mom's family, but I never attempted to contact him. My dignity wouldn't let me go crying at his doorstep, begging them to give me one more chance and accept me as part of the family. They already had a son and probably forgotten about me anyway. In the past few months, my grandparents told me my dad wanted to reach out to me and expressed his desire to fix our relationship and be on good terms. I agreed to give him another chance. At first, I'd see him only at my grandparents' house. Now, he and my stepmother are now wanting me to visit and start talking about their sick son, who's now 13. He's currently on home dialysis, and they said they were hoping to find a donor for him. After stalling and trying to test waters, my dad opened up to me, asking if I would consider donating one of my kidneys to my half-brother, who I have no relationship with. Dad assumed I'd say yes and went on to plan what happens before and after the operation. I got so uncomfortable by this, especially realizing that he only tried to reach out to me to get tested as a potential donor. I told him no, that I won't be getting tested, and that he should respect my decision or I was ready to go no contact. He threw a tantrum because of what I said and tried to blame, guilt-trip me into saying yes, even got loud and called me selfish for holding a grudge. I stopped visiting and refused to answer their calls, demanding me to reconsider my decision. Even tried to directly get my half-brother involved, deliberately used him emotionally to get me to say yes. It doesn't feel right, and it hurts, knowing they only saw me as a potential donor, even when I was ready to let go of what they did to me. Edit. I should mention that I'm a 28-year-old male. I have a stable job, but unfortunately couldn't make it to college. I had gone through a difficult phase in my life. I wasn't able to focus on getting a degree and started working at a young age, which benefited me a lot. OP is not an a-hole. They're not close. Choosing to donate a kidney is not a light subject, and OP doesn't even know the kid. Plus, after how they treated OP is not entitled to give them anything, at all, ever. If I were OP, I'd cut ties with them, again, and never agree to talk. They brought this upon themselves. They're going to deal with it. My husband's parents got divorced when he was 24, as his father had been caught cheating with my Aunt Sarah. Sarah is not really my aunt, but she is a really good friend of my mom's, so I've known her my whole life. She met my father-in-law during my engagement party and started the affair a month later. Sarah's previous husband divorced her after 10 years of marriage when he found out she was infertile, so she has no children of her own. My father-in-law worked for my husband's maternal grandfather's company, and when the affair was exposed, he was fired and lost access to his luxury lifestyle. My husband cut his dad off, and their mom filed for divorce very quickly. Since she did not work, and he wasn't fired until after the divorce was finalized, he had to pay her a lot of alimony. That, plus him being so used to a certain lifestyle, meant he blew through his savings very quickly. My father-in-law tried to reconcile with my mother-in-law multiple times, but she has rejected him each time. So he currently lives in a crappy apartment with Sarah. Despite not being married to his dad and having no relationship with each other, Sarah loves to tell everyone my husband is her stepson and that she's so proud of him. My husband hates this, but is completely no contact with her, so he has never told her to stop directly. I'm currently pregnant with our first child. Since lockdown, me and my mom have been Skyping daily to talk about life. My husband occasionally joins in, but on this particular day, he wasn't home, thankfully. During the call, I notice Sarah is there. She starts butting in and asking how her son is doing. I brush her question off and try to focus the conversation back on me and my mom, but she keeps interrupting. Eventually, Sarah asks me how her grumpy grandbaby is doing. I got pissed and told her my baby already had grandmothers and she wasn't one of them. She started arguing that she was the step-grandmother, and I got increasingly angry and cussed her out, which ended with me telling her she will never be my child's grandmother and ending the call. To be honest, I have a lot of pent-up anger at Sarah. For a long time, my mother-in-law was very cold with me, and I know she held some resentment towards me for indirectly causing the affair. She has since apologized profusely, and we're very close, but during this time, a part of me was terrified my fiancé would end things over it. If Sarah really saw me as her niece, like she claims, I don't think she would have done something like this, knowing I could also face consequences if she got caught. My mom ended up calling me back later to tell me I had made Sarah cry, and that I was acting like a bee, as I knew she would never have kids of her own, and this was the only chance she had to be a grandma. Not being able to have kids has always been a sore spot for Sarah, and I knew that, so a part of me does feel bad, despite everything she's done. Was I the a-hole? OP is not an a-hole. I don't get what it is with all these step-parents, significant others, who think that having an affair and ending someone's marriage will make them a beloved parent by the children of the affair partner. Some important background. Mother-in-law was raised in an abusive family. She was the scapegoat, because she was the only child who wasn't white passing, and she had dyslexia, which her dad didn't believe was a thing. She went no contact at 18, and her parents weren't at her first wedding. When mother-in-law's dad died, her mom reached out and wanted to reconnect. They are taking it very slow. My fiancé's family has a beautiful heirloom necklace that goes to the oldest girl on her wedding day. It is diamond and sapphire and stunningly beautiful. My fiancé's grandmother offered it to me in light of our upcoming wedding, and I happily accepted. Mother-in-law was the only daughter, and it should have gone to her, but she was estranged at the time. Mother-in-law is also engaged and will be getting married shortly after me. When she found out her mom gave me her necklace, she became very upset. She said that we were skipping over her. I felt bad, but I also felt like she is a 43-year-old woman, and I'm just starting out. Mother-in-law's mom said she didn't know mother-in-law felt strongly about it and offered to give her something in its place, but she didn't want that. Following the family dinner, grandmother-in-law reached out and asked for the necklace back. Mother-in-law apparently told her that she wouldn't ever forgive her if she didn't get it for her. I do understand the hurt, but grandmother-in-law can't change the past, and mother-in-law has plenty of nice jewelry. Her fiancé has gotten her a couple of beautiful pieces. Grandmother-in-law begged for it back and said she couldn't lose her daughter again. I said I felt horrible, but it's mine now, and it means a lot to me. Grandmother-in-law then returned while I was at work and threatened to falsely accuse us of stealing it. My fiancé was nervous and gave in and gave it to her. I was furious and called her and told her she stole from me, and you don't get to take back a gift. I also informed mother-in-law that I will not be at her wedding because I don't feel like seeing her wearing it, and she showed that she has zero respect. I am considering uninviting grandmother-in-law from our wedding. My fiancé will stand by me, but other family thinks I'm being too harsh. I think OP is an a-hole in this case. If OP is willing to contribute to a family's misery so she can keep a necklace, it can't mean a lot if the family whose history it's based on don't want you to have it. At that point, it's a meaningless necklace that's probably worth a lot, which makes OP a gold digger and nothing more. Also, what does "she is a 43-year-old woman and I'm just starting out" mean? Like OP is saying mother-in-law is too old to have a nice necklace? OP, mother-in-law is only 43.